to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here at the Matchroom HQ. Eddie, are you two on a diet for one of those burgers today? They were lovely.
I had a bit of chicken, I had a sausage, I had a bit of halloumi, I had some sweet corn. Lovely jubbly. Lovely. It's been a nice day actually. It's been something different, isn't it? To a hotel, giving a hotel a load of money to host us for a press conference when we can do it here in the sun with a barbecue. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm not going to say how many burgers I had because it's quite embarrassing actually, but we'll move on to September 30th. It's kind of the Matchroom barbecue, but it surrounded this date at Wembley on the 30th. Jordan Thompson takes on Jai Opetaia. Massive opportunity for him, isn't it?
It's a wild opportunity. I mean, it's one that's come completely out of nowhere. I mean, when he won the IBF European against Luke Watkins, who's obviously several levels below Jai Opetaia, it was just, right, he's in the top 15 in the world. Let's get 2 more fights and then fight for the world title. And all of a sudden, Richard Riakporhe pulled out of the fight with Opetaia. Opetaia wanted to have a defence. He was up for coming to London. Jordan Thompson was there. Give him a shot. Huge puncher, great athlete, someone that I think is going to move up to heavyweight in time anyway. And Opetaia is absolutely nails. I mean, he broke his jaw against Bradis in the 3rd round. Had a fight of the year with him, won the IBF and Ring Magazine title. What an opportunity for Jordan Thompson. So a great fight between 2 athletes, 2 big punching cruiserweights, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
On the card we saw Maisie Rose is carving herself as being a very, very big personality in this women's division. Kind of what we need just to further grow this division.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a World Championship doubleheader with Ellie Scotney, and Chev Clark is in a good fight against Vasil Dukar. And below that, you know, you've got Shannon Ryan, you've got Maisie Rose, who is a character and can really fight. George Liddard, who's coming real strong now. You've got Ibrahim Suleiman, and you've got the pro debut of Jimmy Sains, who's one of the best amateurs to come out of Repton in a long time. Huge puncher. Sold over 600 tickets now already. He's going to do 800 from the whole of the Essex army will be out, old and new. And, you know, I had his dad in the other day, and it just makes me feel so old because, you know, his dad is, you know, I guess he's a pal of mine, but we all sort of hung around with the similar crowd growing up in our 20s. And it's just amazing to think that I'm now promoting his son. Because it weren't too long ago. I remember I was in Pangier with him in the West End, cutting a few shapes in our 20s, and now I'm promoting his son, who's a brilliant fighter, and you know he's gonna have a fantastic pro career.
George Liddard, Jimmy Sains, Johnny Fisher. There's a bit of an Essex boxing scene that's developing and thriving.
Yeah, and I think that like any, it doesn't matter if it's Essex or Kent. Like if they're good people, you're going to be out supporting them, and. You know, George Liddard is a fine young man. Johnny Fisher is, great families. Jimmy Sains is exactly the same. But you've got, with Jimmy, as a bit like Johnny Fisher as well, you've got the older generation, you know Johnny Fisher Senior and Chris Sains. And then you've got the younger generation who know Johnny and Jimmy. So you've got all kinds of age groups coming from over Essex. And Essex, as you know, is one of those places where you'll be in the pub, you know, you might be in the Drill in Hornchurch and you go and watch Jimmy's debut. You go and watch Jimmy's debut, and then you know someone down the CAF the next morning says you go and Jimmy's debut, and the next thing everyone's going to Jimmy's debut. So it's going to be a special atmosphere, and you know, although Opetaia against Jordan Thompson's a tremendous fight, from a profile point of view, it's not the biggest fight. So to have you know fighters on the card who are shifting 600, 700, 800 tickets. It's great for you know for the numbers in there that night because he's not going to do 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, but you know you're going to have 3,000, 4,000 in there with a lot of pockets of support, and it'll be a great atmosphere.
Eddie, what is going on with Anthony Joshua? Representatives from Saudi kind of threw shade over it yesterday at the Tyson Fury press conference. Shane Fury had a hell of a lot to say. Just clarify what is going on, and is this Wilder fight happening?
Yeah, according to Shane Fury, Saudi aren't doing the the Wilder Joshua fight. I mean, from our point of view, we've agreed terms. We've agreed the money. We've agreed the date. We've done everything. As you can see, politically, there's a shift in movement in boxing in Saudi Arabia, and we just await news. Really, we won't wait forever. If Saudi don't want to do that fight, can look at other site fees for that. But we had a agreement and long conversations to do it there, and we'd love to. We'd love to work with whoever it's going to be that's promoting that show. As I understand it, they still want to do AJ against Wilder and Fury against Usyk. Maybe they just do Fury against AJ. I don't know. But from AJ's point of view, we're looking to move in the next couple of weeks to decide what we want to do. Because if we're not going to fight Wilder in January, he'll fight again probably in December. So we'll see what's next.
Was there any truth in what Shane Fury and the likes of the representatives were saying yesterday?
I haven't heard it. What did they say? Who was the representatives?
It was, I'll get up. I don't want to get this name wrong because my pronunciation is a bit out there. But it was Turki Al-Kashik. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the interview.
He said that there's a lot of speak, but so far he hasn't spoke to you.
No, he hasn't spoke to me. That's true. Correct. Yeah, I didn't know. He said it's not happening, but
that's what Shane. That's what Shane
yeah,
Fury said. Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. But no, I haven't spoke to them yet. Happy to, ready to. Obviously, all of our conversations have been with Prince Khalid and Skills Challenge, and we'll speak to whoever we need to speak to. They've done a great job yesterday. Whether it's fighting Tyson Fury, whether it's fighting Deontay Wilder, happy to have those conversations. If not, we'll look for another fight, and I'm sure we'll work together down the line.
So is Prince Khalid kind of moved on from Saudi boxing now?
I don't know. It's one for them. You know, obviously originally it was Skills Challenge hosting boxing in Saudi. Obviously that's changed now with the Fury and Ngannou fight, and I don't know the full ins and outs.
Looking at potential options for AJ, Tyson Fury said, and I quote, he's like an old journeyman. He'll never fight AJ. Is that tongue-in-cheek? Is that what Tyson Fury says?
Tyson said that he won't fight AJ and he's not interested in Usyk. He's not interested in Undisputed. He only wants the big boys. But I don't know who the big boys are outside of Usyk and AJ.
He said John Jones and Ngannou in a cage and outside a cage.
All right, yeah. But I think that it all depends on the individual. If Fury doesn't care about Undisputed, if he doesn't care about legacy, if he doesn't want to be the greatest fighter of one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, he ain't going to fight him. And it's up to him. I'm not going to say, oh, it's terrible, I can't believe it. I get the Ngannou fight. It's a great event. But I just, if I'm Tyson Fury, if I'm working with him, maybe he's unbeatable. And if he is, like, there's so much money in the AJ. I mean, there's much more money in the AJ fight than there is in the Usyk fight. But the Usyk fight, there's a lot of money in that as well, and it's for Undisputed. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. But, I've been watching at home with the Furies, and I'm trying to figure him out, but I can't yet. So I'll just leave him to his own devices. He's a great entertainer, great fighter, and if he doesn't want to fight the best in a division, it's up to him, isn't it?
If he genuinely doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk, how disappointing is it for you wanting to put on these biggest fights?
Of course. It's disappointing for us, it's disappointing for boxing, it's disappointing for British fight fans, but it's Tyson Fury. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, and I don't blame him. Look, he's making a lot of money to fight a guy who's never boxed before. It's not bad business, is it? So, but it depends just what you want. And if you want legacy, if you want to beat the best and go down in history, then you'll take those fights. And if not, you'll continue to do what he's doing.
What did you make of David Adeleye and Fabio Wardley? They had a bust up. It was a bit crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not the best. You'd always want to make sure security can get in there, but it's difficult when you've got a few big lumps throwing themselves about. I don't know, someone told me he's busted his finger, someone told me he's got a big cut on his chin, I saw a cut on his eye, and the fight's, 8 weeks away? So you'd have to think it's not the best. But yeah. No.
From your understanding, with that fight taking place in Saudi Arabia, that wouldn't be for the British title?
Correct, yeah, correct.
Because I said to Fabio Wardley, he said there still is a chance that could be. Would there be any position?
Under the rules, no, it can't be, and I think the board have confirmed that. But I don't know unless the board are going to start changing their rules. Be nice. But no, as I understand it, no. I mean, I don't know if the fight will take place now, but you know, wherever it takes place now, it's going to be a big fight.
Just a few more quick ones because I know you've got to go. Eubank Jr., Conor Ben, every time we speak to you, we've got to ask more updates. Is there any update from the 48 hours?
Yeah, Wednesday we spoke last, no.
Yes.
No, meeting with Calla, everybody wants to fight. We'll have to see.
Amanda Serrano fighting 12 3-minute rounds. Is this something you could follow suit in only for the elite fights?
Yeah, I get it. You know, I think that I like the 2 minutes because I think it's all action, and I think it's really led to some of the growth of female boxing, in all honesty. The WBC don't allow it, so you can't have undisputed fights over 12 3-minute rounds, as Amanda's isn't. That's not sanctioned by the WBC. So, you know, when you talk about Taylor Serrano, every belt has to be on the line, and it's going to be 10-3, 10. I keep saying 10-3s, 10-2s. Whether in time we go to 10-3s or 12-3s or 12-2s, maybe we evolve. But I do think that for an entertainment factor, 2-minute rounds has been good for women's boxing.
And Joe Cordina, just about to be announced. I think by the time this goes out, it will be announced out in Monaco. First time returning back to Monaco since lockdown.
Yeah, it's going to be great to be back. Obviously, you know, for us, Monaco was a tremendous show, important for us worldwide, and first time back post-pandemic. Joe Cordina will defend his world title. Noshinga, our South African world champion, will defend his world title. Ramla Ali will rematch Guzman in a very tough fight. Sully Sissoko as well on that card, and good to be back in Monaco. Get your bow tie ready, boy.
Well, I'll have to go shopping for one of them ones. Last one, very random but a bit different. I was at Newlands Gym watching Nina Hughes spar on Monday, and I saw a young 13-year-old called Kelsey Hopwood. She says she's got your support, and she's very good. She jumped in and done a few rounds with Nina, in and out, but just good to see these talents so young.
Yeah. So Kelsey Hopwood, my daughter is at Brentwood Central Amateur Boxing Club, and she's, I think, with Church, and Church came down for an open spar with Brentwood, and Kelsey Hopwood was in the ring. I didn't know her. I think she was 12 at the time, and I just watched this girl just walk forward southpaw and sit in the pocket and slip and trade, and I just thought to myself, wow. And she got out of the ring, and I just went up to her, and she's very shy, and I said to her, "You're really good." She was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I said, no, you're really good. And she went away and she won tournaments, I think, in Denmark and stuff like that. And her coach messaged me the other week just to say, look, she's sort of had a little bit of a tough time lately, and she hasn't really been in the gym much. Could you talk to her? And I reached out to her and just sent her a message and said, listen, stay with it, because you're a special talent, you know. And I think she's back in the gym now, and she's, you know, I think at that age showing all the signs to go on and be a fantastic female fighter. And you know, it's so important. I know that when kids get to that kind of age, I see it with my own daughters, how, you know, it's so frustrating because you see a talent in them and then they find friends and going out and it's not cool anymore. But if you've got talent and you have a passion, you have to stick with it. And yeah, maybe one day I look forward to signing Kelsey Hopwood, and if so, you'll play this interview back when she becomes undisputed world champion.
There you go, a little feel-good story on a Friday afternoon. Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for having me down today, and I'll
to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, winning their guilt wins. Right, the bouncer's guilt wins.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,